Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm sharing a wild WA story that will make you question how far some people will go for control. Let me tell you how an HOA Karen tried to fine me for something that was literally on my own property, and how that pushed me to do something nobody expected. I became the WA president and ended her reign of nonsense. When I first moved into my new home, I was excited. Quiet street, big backyard, a little shed that came with the property, everything felt perfect. That is, until Karen showed up. She marched across my lawn with her sunglasses on at sunset and introduced herself like she was the mayor of the world. She said, "Welcome, I hope you've read the WA rulebook. I enforce it personally." The tone, the attitude, everything told me, this woman lived for controlling people. A few days later, I walked outside and found a bright yellow paper taped to my door. WA warning, your shed is illegal. My shed, the shed that was already on the property when I bought it. I walked down to the WA office and there she was behind the desk, Karen, sipping from a mug that literally said, "I am the rules." She smirked before I even opened my mouth. "That shed violates symmetry guidelines," she said. I pulled out my deed and showed her the boundary lines. The shed wasn't even on WA-controlled land. It was fully on my property. She didn't even blink. She just said, "Well, it is now." And she wrote me a fine. That was the start of the nightmare. One fine turned into 5. 5 turned into 10. She fined me because my grass was too alive. She fined me because my car was too visible. She fined me for having a trash can 1 inch closer to the curb than she wanted. She even fined me $50 because, apparently, my wind chime disrupted the harmony of the neighborhood. It was clear she wasn't enforcing rules, she was targeting me. And she was enjoying every moment of it. I started talking to the neighbors, and suddenly, story after story came out. Karen had been terrorizing this place for years. She filed false violations on people she didn't like. She yelled at kids for playing outside. She trespassed to take photos of backyards. She wrote fines just to remind people she had power. But nobody fought back because the WA board was just a group of her friends who let her run the place like a little kingdom. Then one older neighbor pulled me aside and said quietly, "If you really want to stop her, run for WA president." At first, I laughed. Me, president, I just wanted to mow my lawn in peace. But then I saw Karen giving a 72-year-old veteran a violation because his American flag was too bright. That was the moment something snapped inside me. I printed flyers. I knocked on doors. I listened to everyone's stories. Every single house had a Karen incident. People were tired, angry, embarrassed that they were living under her rule. So I promised them something simple. No more harassment, no more fake fines, and no more Karen controlling the neighborhood like a tyrant. Karen did not take it well. One afternoon, she stormed onto my driveway, pointed her finger at my chest, and screamed, "You'll never win. This neighborhood is mine." She said that while standing on my property. The irony was perfect. Election day came and the room was packed. Karen sat in the front row with her arms crossed like a dictator waiting to punish the peasants. When the votes were counted, I had 63 votes. She had 4. She looked like someone had unplugged her from the wall. I walked to the front and told the room, "Starting today, harassment ends." The place erupted with cheers. For the first time, people were hopeful. But Karen, oh, she didn't go quietly. She refused to turn over documents. She refused to follow rules. She refused to accept she wasn't queen anymore. So I did exactly what she had done to everyone else, I fined her. Legally. And here's the twist. Karen had more violations than anyone in the entire neighborhood. She had unapproved lawn decorations, a fence that violated height regulations, a shed that extended into shared property, and, my personal favorite, unauthorized security cameras pointing directly into her neighbors' windows. By the time everything was tallied, she owed more than $3,400. And when she didn't pay, the WA placed a lien on her property. Yes, Karen, the woman who fined everyone for breathing incorrectly, got financially crushed by the very rules she used to bully people. A month later, she sold her house and moved away. The day she left, I found a note in my mailbox. It said, "You stole my power." I laughed, because I didn't steal anything. I just took back what belonged to the community. Peace, respect, freedom to live without being bullied. Now, kids play outside again. People talk to each other. Flags fly, families smile. And the shed, the one that started everything, is still standing exactly where it belongs. For more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.